Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news update from all over the province. This is News at 12. In the local scene, the provincial government of Albay, Dr. Lorenzo Peziga Memorial District Hospital, and the Department of Health Bicol Center for Health Development are set to strengthen their medical assistance to indigent patients through the renewal of the Memorandum of Agreement. This follows the approval of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan ng Albay, which authorizes Acting Governor Baby Glenda Ongbongao to sign the MOA, as outlined in the approved resolution titled Memorandum of Agreement between the Department of Health, Center for Health Development Bicol, and the Provincial Government of Albay, Dr. Lorenzo Peziga Memorial District Hospital, relative to the transfer of funds amounting to 1,500,000 pesos for the medical assistance to indigent and financially incapacitated patients program. According to Jean A. Motelia, Department of Health Bicol Program Coordinator, the MOA will formalize the transfer of financial assistance to indigent patients of the PGA managed hospitals as part of the annual fund replenishment by the Department of Health. With the approval of the resolution, Siga Hospital will be able to continue providing medical assistance to indigent patients seeking consultation or hospital admission. The renewed agreement will strengthen support for financially disadvantaged patients, covering hospitalization, professional medical fees, and other essential healthcare services necessary for life-saving care. The fund allocation is based on Republic Act number 11975, also known as the General Appropriations Act for fiscal year 2024, and follows the implementing guidelines as stated in Administrative Order number 2024-0006. In other story, the provincial government of Albay has allocated 10.29% of its 2026 annual budget for the implementation of gender programs and projects as confirmed by the Gender and Development Division. The 10.29% allocation for the Gender and Development Plan and budget encompasses 20 implementing offices of the PGA, with a focus on gender advocacy and women's empowerment. This initiative aligns with Republic Act 9710, also known as the Magna Carta for Women, and guidelines set by the Philippine Commission on Women. The budget is also a key component of the Seal of Good Local Governance and the Good Financial Housekeeping Program of the Department of Interior and Local Government. Dr. Rowena L. Undis, chair of the GOD and Focal Point System Technical Working Group, expressed her gratitude to the PGA department heads for their support in gender advocacy and their commitment to women's empowerment. Furthermore, GOD received commendation during the Commission on Audit Exit Conference for its accomplishments report from the previous year. In the national scene, the Armed Forces of the Philippines is planning to acquire more missile systems, warships, and multi-role fighter jets as part of the strengthening and enhancing the country's reliable deterrent force. In a statement, Armed Forces Chief General Romeo Bronner Jr. said the move would complete the integration of the military's air and missile defense capacities. Bronner noted that the AFP's modernization roadmap is anchored on the long-term strategy focused on enhancing both capability and deterrence. It also cited India as a vital partner in modernizing the country's military assets. India has recently delivered a shore-based anti-ship missile system procured by the Philippine government from BrahMos Aerospace PVT Ltd, a defense material projection company. The acquisition deal includes the delivery of the 3 missile batteries, each consisting of mobile autonomous launchers and tracking system. The missile asset is seen as enhancing the Philippine Navy's firepower, particularly that of the Philippine Marine Corps' Coast Defense Regiment. The BrahMos supersonic cruise missile system will provide counterattack capabilities within the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone. Both the Philippines and India have been close partners in development and capacity building, as well as committed to adhering to a rules-based international order in the Indo-Pacific region. Moreover, Army Commanding General Lieutenant General Roy Galido clarified that the acquisition of a short-range missile system for the Philippine Army is still under review. In other story, the Philippine Interagency Humanitarian Contingent has been actively engaged in rescue and medical operations in response to the devastating magnitude 7.7 earthquake that struck Myanmar last March 28. The Office of Civil Defense stated that the agency has established a tent hospital near the Bumingong Temple in the ancient city of Bagan, located in the central plains of Myanmar. The Philippine Emergency Medical Assistance Team provided free checkups and medication to earthquake victims, launching a collaboration with representatives from the Myanmar Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Information. Since April 3, the tent hospital has accommodated 94 patients, 68 for general medicine cases, 20 for surgical issues, and 2 each for pediatrics, obstetrics, and gynecology and orthopedic cases. The OCD said that among the patients treated, 71 were females and 23 were males. Of the cases, 22 were directly related to the earthquake, 14 were indirectly related, and 56 were unrelated to it. More than 3,300 individuals were killed, while over 4,500 were wounded in a powerful quake, according to officials in Myanmar. In other news, the Department of Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Kakdak has confirmed the provisional release of the 17 detained Filipinos in Qatar. Kakdak confirmed that detainees were released in 2 batches, 12 men at around 2:30 a.m. and 5 women. The 17 Filipinos were among the 20 individuals arrested on 28 of March at a resort in Doha for participating in an unauthorized political demonstration marking former President Rodrigo Duterte's birthday and protesting his detention in The Hague, Netherlands, while 3 minors were detained they were released earlier. The DMW secretary noted that no charges had been filed against the 17 rallyists, but the Qatari Prosecution Service is continuing its investigation. If charges are pursued, Filipinos could face imprisonment of 6 months to 3 years and a fine of 10,000 to 50,000, or approximately 157,900 to 789,000 pesos. And in the news outside the country, the rain is complicating relief efforts and worsening conditions for survivors in Myanmar, Her state media reported that the death toll from a powerful earthquake has risen to nearly 3,500. The 7.7 magnitude earthquake, which struck on March 28, caused widespread destruction, toppling buildings, cutting off power, and damaging roads and bridges, especially in Sagaing and Mandalay, the country's second largest city. The state media now report 3,471,000 confirmed deaths, 4,671 injuries, and 214 people are still missing, while many survivors in Mandalay have been forced to sleep outdoors in tents as their homes either collapsed or remained too unsafe to enter. When rain and wind began battering the temporary shelters on Saturday evening, survivors had to choose between seeking refuge in unstable buildings or braving the elements outdoors. Aid experts warn the combination of rain and scorching heat heightens the risks of disease outbreaks in makeshift camps. Meanwhile, aftershocks have continued, including a 4.7 magnitude tremor just south of Mandalay late Friday, according to the United States Geological Survey. And finally, in the news outside the country, South Korea's Constitutional Court unanimously upheld President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment over a disastrous martial law declaration. Yoon, 64, was suspended by lawmakers over an attempt to subvert civilian rule, which saw armed soldiers deployed to parliament. Millions of Koreans watched the court hand down its verdict live on television, with the country's leading messaging app, KakaoTalk, telling Agence France-Presse that some users were experiencing delay due to sudden surge in traffic. Yoon's removal, effective immediately, triggers new presidential elections, which must be held within 60 days. The decision was unanimous, and the police provided the judges with additional security protection. Meanwhile, opposition party lawmakers applauded as the verdict was announced, calling it historic, while lawmakers from Yoon's party filed out from the courtroom. And that's all for the news at 12, April 7, 2025. We'll be back tomorrow for more news updates. And thanks to our news writer, Albay PIO and Erica Dumlao. And on the technical side, Chad Bobis. Of course, our Provincial Information Officer, Mary Luduga Castillo. And under the supervision of our Governor, Baby Glenn Daong Mungao, I am Greg Hallare. Thank you for subscribing.